Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Box Office Receipts. I'm your host Tyler Callahan, and we will start this episode off with the latest numbers domestically and then head to Asia. Opening up in first place is a horror movie from Focus Features called Come Play with 3.1 million. In second place is Honest Thief with 1.35 million for a total of 9.5 million. In third place is War with Grandpa with 1 million for a total of 11.3 million. In fourth place we see Tenet with 888,000 for a total of 53.8 million. Lastly, in fifth place is The Empty Man, which had a terrible 53% drop off its opening weekend to make 561,000, now with a total of 2.2 million. So honestly, there's not much to say about the numbers here. Besides The Empty Man, the rest had steady drops, which is par the course. Come Play did open slightly lower than other movies recently, but I'll chalk that up to people not hearing about it. Also, we still do not have theaters open in New York City or in the Los Angeles area yet. Now taking the trip to Asia, China is still doing the most business with the Korean war movie The Sacrifice staying in first place with 28.9 million and has now made 106.4 million in total. In second place was Digimon Adventure Last Evolution, which opened with 9 million. Third place was My People, My Homeland with 7.8 million, but has now made 402 million in total, making it one of the top grossing movies worldwide of 2020. Looking at Japan, Demon Slayer still has legs and they are still running with it, making 28.7 million for the weekend and is now at 150.6 million in total. Insane numbers for the movie, and for China, the market is still going strong, with it a good chance of half of the top 10 worldwide for the year, if not maybe more. But speaking of that, let's take a look at how the top 10 looks like right now. In 10th place is The Invisible Man with 134 million. In 9th place is Demon Slayer with 150 million. In 8th place is Birds of Prey with 201 million. 7th place is Jingjia with 238 million. In 6th place is Dolittle with 250 million. In 5th place is Sonic the Hedgehog with 305 million. 4th place is Tenet with 345 million. In 3rd place is My People, My Homeland with 402 million. 2nd place is Bad Boys for Life with 424 million. And finally, the number one movie worldwide is The 800 with 465 million. So yeah, for our top 10, we have 1 Japanese film and 3 Chinese movies, and at this rate will be 4 if The Sacrifice can hold strong. I will say, having not seen this list in a while, I'm surprised Dolittle got to 250 million. I mean, it still lost money, but I'm shocked it still made that much. Now let's talk about AMC and their third quarter numbers, which are terrible. For their third quarter, they lost 905 million. To put this in context, this time last year, when everything was open, they only lost around 54 million. In revenue, they made 119.5 million, which is a steep decline from last year's third quarter, which made 1.31 billion. They also talked about how they need to get some cash, preferably before the end of the year, or they are out of runway. To accomplish this, they are looking to sell more shares, even though they sold a round in September and in October. To reduce burning through what cash they have left, they are still negotiating with landlords for some of their theaters to either reduce or delay their payments. Now, while these are terrible numbers, I brought this up not for the numbers themselves, because they were expected to be bad, and they were, but because right after these numbers came out, they took another hit with the Christmas window, as Disney has decided to not put out more Fox movies to die. That's right, Free Guy and Death on the Nile have been moved out of Christmas and will now release sometime in 2021. With this move, our big movies for Christmas are Wonder Woman 1984 and Monster Hunter, and let's be honest, Wonder Woman is getting moved. Now, Universal has not delayed anything else, so barring a last-minute change, we will get a proper new release in theaters with The Croods 2. Does this suck? Absolutely. However, as of this recording, America is hitting 100,000 cases per day. If theaters could not open during the summer when there were only 40 to 60,000 cases per day, why would studios try to push a movie out when the numbers have doubled? That means, at least depending on which state you live in, it is now twice as more dangerous to go out there than it was over the summer. And we are still not even in the middle of winter, which would be December and January, aka when these movies are coming out. We're still at the end of fall. So I can see Regal keeping most of its theaters closed because there's now less of a reason to open up. The only spots I think they will keep open are the ones in California and New York, because those have recently opened up and it's still a market that has some demand. AMC, on the other hand, will keep open their theaters provided the government does not tell them to shut down because they need to make as much cash as possible. For theaters, this will definitely be a dark winter. I do apologize to leave the episode on a more somber note, but there's not much more than that happened this week. Really nothing to add to the VOD premium section to go through. I will add, though, be on the lookout for a new Box Office Receipts Plus next week as I talk about my experience of going to a theater in New York after they reopened. I'll talk about that and the movie I saw, which was Tenet, and my quick thoughts on the movie. The question for the week is, how many movies in the top 10 worldwide will be Chinese movies by the end of the year? What do you think? We're already at 3, probably going to be 4. If they have a strong Christmas push, I could see 5 or 6. But what do you think? Let me know on Facebook. Link to the description of that is in the show notes. Thank you for listening. See you next time.